The issue of free speech is at the heart of the TikTok debate, and it's one that has been raised by several members of Congress. Many lawmakers see a TikTok ban as an infringement on Americans' right to free expression, particularly because social media platforms like TikTok are spaces where people share opinions, create content, and communicate with others. Some argue that banning TikTok would be a form of censorship, curbing the ability of millions of people to express themselves freely. Advocates for free speech argue that government actions to limit access to platforms based on their country of origin or their data policies could set dangerous precedents, especially when such actions are taken without clear evidence for wrongdoing. For example, if TikTok is banned, what's next? Will other platforms that don't align with government policies face similar threats? There's also concern about the border implications for digital rights. With the US government asserting more control over which apps and platforms are allowed to operate in the country, we could be setting a precedent for more intrusive regulation of the digital space. For those who believe in a free and open internet, these developments are pretty alarming. Okay. On the other side of the debate, there are those who argue that national security concerns are too serious to ignore. Representative Michael McCaul of Texas, for example, has pushed for a stronger stance on TikTok, citing the potential risks posed by foreign influence in U.S. digital infrastructure. In this view, banning TikTok is about safeguarding the country's interests, not suppressing free speech. Okay, so what's the solution? How will the US government reconcile these issues of national security, free speech, and the impact on TikTok's users? One option could be imposing stricter regulations on TikTok, collects and uses data, perhaps through a framework that requires transparency and oversight. This would allow users to continue using the platform while addressing concerns about privacy and national security. Another possibility could be forcing ByteDance to sell its US operations to a domestic company, which could potentially alleviate fears about Chinese government influence. However, such a move could raise its own set of complications, including questions about market fairness and whether a sale would even guarantee the protection of Americans' users' data. Ultimately, any solution will require a balance, one that addresses national security without stifling innovation, free expression, or the livelihood of millions of people who depend on TikTok. So the debate over the TikTok ban is more than just a matter of national security. It raises significant questions about privacy, free speech, and the role of government in regulating digital platforms. While the US government is grappling with how to protect its citizens, TikTok millions of users are facing uncertainty about the future of their platform. The situation is complex and it will require careful consideration and compromise to find a solution that addresses the legitimate concerns of all parties involved. Whether or not TikTok gets banned, one thing is clear: the conversation about digital rights and internet freedom is far from over.